No.
Hi, my name is Tim Musig. I'm the CEO at JB Prints, and I'd like to welcome you to another installment of What's New at JB Prints. Today we'd like to talk about cookware, which we know is an essential part of every kitchen. It is the ultimate in getting customers what it is that they need or what it is that they want. And we have this really interesting collection of cookware from an Italian maker called Piazza. It is leaning more towards the small side of cookware, pots and vessels. It could even easily probably go right from the kitchen to the table in certain environments. And what makes it so interesting and cool is that a lot of these small sizes we know are really conducive to fine dining establishments who tend to use smaller amounts of sauce for garnish, and you don't necessarily want to heat up a lot of product and waste it or blow out of it that quickly. So they've developed these really nice saucepans, these kind of baby saute pans, these smaller kind of rondeau style pans, and they also have kind of a two-handled stock pot sort of a look. What makes them so interesting is that they're actually 3-ply. They're induction ready. Generally pans this size, you might have a little difficulty on some individual induction hubs, but keep in mind the material in here is a ferrous material, so it can be used on induction. They've done this very interesting handle, and I'm actually going to come around a little bit and show you some cool detail that's here on this. And what makes this one so special and interesting is that they have kind of sort of these flat handles, if you will, and they're much lighter than a traditional handle. And there's also, I don't know if you can see it or not, well, I'll show you this end first. It's actually welded in 4 spots, and then there's this kind of gap, if you will, here. And then that gap is continued here, and then continued here across the top portion of the pan. And the idea behind that one is to kind of sort of reduce weight. And in addition, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, and in addition to reducing weight, that gap also allows for less of a heat transfer from the body of the pan to the actual handle itself, keeping things a little bit cooler. Ultimately, it'll get hot because it's metal, but it'll be a little cooler. And as for the weight distribution part of things that I was talking about earlier, it's always been very difficult for manufacturers to make smaller pans simply because if the handle's so heavy, things tend to tip. But as you can see, this one is super well balanced. It'll lay flat and even on a flat top or the right size burner, and it should work really nicely. This one happens to be 8 centimeters. There's also 10, and then they get kind of a little bit bigger as you go up in the series. The same thing holds true for the small saute, the mini kind of rondeau, if you will, and the saucepan, the two-handled stock pot. You can see some cool mussel dish coming out of this one. The other nice thing that they've done is they've also created these pots with these super convenient lids where you can actually just kind of sort of hang them on the side. And so you have not only the pans, but this complete line of lids that match with all the sizes. So that's a nice, interesting new line for us. And again, the series numbers on these, they kind of go in numerical order. You have S413 in the small saute. You have S412 in the smaller saucepans. You have S414 in the baby rondeau, and S411 in the kind of baby stock pot style. And of course, I did those all in that order, but that's what you got there. And additionally, we have one other cool pan. This is coming from us from Australia, if you will. Which seems a little bit weird for cookware, I think. People always think about French and American companies, but this is really new and kind of unique. It is a marriage of a very traditional material, which is carbon steel, and some kind of interesting technology that has gone into it. Like I mentioned before, it's kind of like a traditional French carbon in the sense that it will rust, takes in a little bit of break-in, has to be cared for a very specific way. But the heat retention on is excellent, superb for searing, getting beautiful color, that Maillard reaction that we always look for. You'll notice that it's completely smooth inside, and maybe I should come around again and show you guys that. There is no rivets. This is all one-piece construction. And what they've done also with this one-piece construction, they've kind of punched out these little sections here. That's to reduce weight and also reduce heat transfer. Kind of sort of similar to what we see in the stainless steel Piazza pans. But this one is coming to us again from Australia. You see the Australian flag up there that you can even use as a hook to hang up. This is Solid Technics Aussie Ion carbon steel pan. An awesome marriage between old school thinking, and really nice modern cookware. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.